Cooking lessons with Danny D.
Okay guys, here we have some oxtails. We had it defrosting in the refrigerator in a salt, water, vinegar brine. We had it in there for until it defrosted, so a couple of hours. So right now we're just cutting out some excess fat that's around it. So these pieces are a little large, but there's still a lot of fat still left on it. And then once we're done with that, we're going to rinse it in a hot water bath, just to rinse off any excess, excess fats and anything on the oxtail, any impurities or like Caribbean people would like to say. So right now we're just going to rub down the pieces of oxtail with a piece of lime. Now I did squeeze some of the lime juice out so that we'll use that as part of our seasoning, and here's some of the lime juice from that one lime. And right now we're just going to rub this down, and then we're going to give it one more rinse over with some hot water. Now we're just going to do a quick hot water bath just to rinse. And again, this process helps to eliminate the freshness and the smell of meat, basically the fresh smell, and this is going to help with the seasoning process as well. Just kind of swirl it in there a little bit. You can see some of the fat pieces are floating to the top, and that's why we do this, so that we can, any excess fats that we don't want when we're seasoning will all float to the top, and we'll just take those out and rinse it off. Rinse, and it'll be ready for seasoning. We just like to go through this process just to make sure our meat is very well cleaned, and any impurities, excess fats that we don't want to cook, because again, when you leave that all in there, it's all going to get cooked in with the meat. So we want to make sure that we get out as much of it as possible. ready for our seasoning. So what we'll do at this point is we will add the lemon juice that we originally squeezed from the lime. Sorry, it's lime juice actually that we used. We'll just add that in here. Okay, so now that we've already rinsed it all out and we've added the lime juice, we're going to start adding our seasoning. And we're going to start with our brown and serve, our browning sauce, and this will add a nice dark color to the meat. It also has some sodium in it, so we will just probably use about 2 tablespoons sprinkle. And then we're going to stir that in. We want to make sure that the meat is evenly coated. Make sure it has enough color. So next we're going to add some soy sauce, and it's going to be, for this amount of meat, it's about a good 2.5 pounds of meat, so we'll say about a 1/4 cup of soy sauce, but we'll just, you know, again, we just kind of sprinkle it through, about 1/4 cup of soy sauce. Just spread it all around. Alrighty. Then we're gonna go in with our Worcestershire sauce, and probably this one too will be about a 1/4 cup as well. Sprinkle it through. Alrighty. Now we can go in with our granulated dry seasonings. So here is some garlic powder. We're gonna put that in there. And a good tablespoon of that. Our go-to seasoned salt. We don't need too much of this, but we will probably add a tablespoon of that as well. And you can add some habanero peppers, but I ran out of some of that. So just to add a little bit of spice, not much, we're going to add some crushed red pepper and about a teaspoon of that. Okay. I ran out of onion powder, so I'll use some fresh onions in the browning process to let it cook in there, and we'll add that afterwards. But now we're going to stir. We have one more ingredient to add, which will be ketchup.
I see it all the time. You're afraid to bite your art, and you're always missing. Eventually, they invite someone else, like me. Chocolate blender. If you really want chocolate blender, hang out with your friends. Take some selfies, walking with chips,
And we're just gonna add any old ketchup that you have. It's nothing fancy. And we'll just kind of give it a squirt. And that's about it. So that's about a tablespoon of ketchup. You can add other seasonings. In the Caribbean, we make a green seasoning. You can also add that in there if you'd like. But just to have the meat already marinating and setting up. So we'll typically do this overnight. But because we're short on time, we're going to just let it sit in the refrigerator for about another 2 hours. And in that time, I'll show you the other wet seasoning that I'm going to add, which is pretty much just onion and fresh garlic. And I'll mince that and add that as it's getting ready to cook. Okay, so right now our oxtails are nicely seasoned, and we're just going to put it back in the refrigerator. I like to put things in a plastic bag before putting it in the refrigerator, just to make sure that there's no leakages into the refrigerator. So we're just getting ready to bag it, and then we'll put it up. Okay guys, we are going to do a little bit of a mixture, a little bit of a seasoning, a wet seasoning to put into our oxtail. And right now I just have 1 whole onion and a clove of garlic, and also some thyme, dried, a little bit dried. So I'm gonna peel these and stick these into our blender here, and just to make sure that we allow the meat to really absorb the flavors of the onion and the onion and all the other ingredients that we're putting in here. If you have some peppers, red, yellow, green peppers, you're also welcome to add that into there. In the Caribbean, we do have a green seasoning that we use, but I've run out of that, so I'm just going to use what I have, and this should suffice because again, the oxtail is right now marinating already in some wet seasoning, so this is just some extra just to make sure that the flavor is robust. So I'll be right back. Okay, so here are the oxtails that we're already marinating in the seasonings that we previously applied. So here's my mix. I'm in the blender. Again, you can use a food processor. I just wanted you to see that you could also use your blender. Not everyone has a food processor, and that's okay. So it's not. Okay guys, so we're prepping for the oxtail, and right now I'm just heating up some oil, and I'm just gonna start the oxtail in the pot, pan fry it some, and then give it about 15 minutes cooking on the stove, and then I'm gonna transfer it to the crock pot just so that it you know, get to be as tender as possible. You can stick it in the oven as well. You can put it in the oven. There's just different ways. You can slow cook it, again putting it in the oven. If you leave it on the stove, of course, clearly it has to be cooked for a good 2 hours at least. You want it very soft, but not completely falling off the bone that you can't, you know, really kind of pick it up to eat. But you do want it that in between. So midway through the cooking process, I'm going to stop and, check on it, make sure it's, still looking good, and probably will add some coconut milk into it just to thicken it some more. But we're just going to start it here right now. Just kind of making sure the oil, just want to bring it high. Now, there are some people, you can do a browning with the sugar and caramelized sugar to brown the meat, but because I've already add that browning seasoning that's already given the meat the dark flavor, I'm not going to do that, the caramelizing with the brown sugar. So I'm just gonna do kind of like a pan fry, just so that we get the cooking process started. So I'm just going to test the oil a little. Okay, it's not hot enough yet, so because it did not sizzle. So we'll just wait a little bit.
Put it higher.
Turn it off and wait.
Of course we keep on going, though everybody know it. The truth about our way, we tied it loose ends up, I'm sorry. Be cool, go on and fake it. We still know we will break it. We make the same mistakes we always made, and now let's face it.
So this is it, the oxtails in the pot. So now it's been cooking for about, oh goodness, about 45 minutes in the pot. So now I'm just gonna transfer it to my crock pot to finish it off, because I do want it to, slow cook. You could also, again, put it in the oven. That's another way to do it as well. Just transferring it over.
Of course we keep on going, though everybody know it. The truth about our way, we tied it loose ends up, I'm sorry. Be cool, go on and fake it. We still know we will break it. We make the same mistakes we always made, and now let's face it.
Look how beautiful that thing look. Like, come on. And look how it smells. Yo. This is the finished product. You know, looking all amazing and delicious. I taste it. I can't wait to take this down. But I'm just enjoying this because, you know, I'm gonna have to go on a diet soon, but I'll be alright.